come in, just don't say anything. Or you can say it.
Yeah, go to January.
In January, I have to explain this.
Every time.
Every time with a J. Yeah.
Have the month.
Oh man, January 2nd.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We're in the 13th.
It's gonna be good.
Now, I'll be able to remember that in about June. So.
Yeah.
I'm thinking June.
Oh,
It took me that long.
Make you sound better.
2012.
Can I chew on that?
just try to.
You have anything you want? If we don't have anything we want to discuss, we'll go to the minutes.
Oh, I think the questions I had are gonna come up down below anyway, so.
Okay. Who's our reader of the minutes?
I guess that would be me. Ellen wanted to make it, she emailed these to me. Members present, this is for November 7th, 2012, meeting at 7:30 a.m. with EDC IDC. Members present were Leslie Cheney, Ronnie Moorhead, Mary Everett, John Dane Golson, Cecily Heck, Ellen Abernathy, and Director Martha Jones. Guests present were Melinda Ryan, Stephanie Small. Meeting was called to order at 7:30 a.m. by Leslie Cheney. Invocation was given by John Dane Golson. Open forum. The wind farms are now at a count of 6, up and running, 17.5 miles in Stonewall County with an added $42,000 tax revenue added to the county coffers. EDC and IDC has begun moving into a new building. W. King is spending approximately $500 million in Stonewall County, and it's all said and done. Ronnie Moorhead said he hoped another company will pick up the other area of the county, then expand west toward Peacock. Overall, it stated that Stonewall County is doing well fiscally. The remark was made, if a person has a CDL, a job will be easy to obtain. Conversation also included the continued need for water reservoirs. Ronnie Moorhead attended recent legislature meeting in Vernon with 2 state senators and 2 representatives, and that they realized the state is in serious need of water. Word is spreading that a lake is needing to be built in Stonewall County. Minutes were read from September 18th, 2012, and October 3rd, 2012 meetings by Ellen Abernathy. Ronnie Moorhead asked for clarification on the October 3rd minutes that the $5,000 to $6,000 is from tax revenue. Martha also clarified that none of the utilities are currently shared, suggested that the EDC board might consider getting with IDC to share the utilities. Supplies are currently shared evenly. Insurance premium values is increased on the hotel for $200,000 from $100,000 or $131,000. EDC to $30,000, and it has M and K, but it should be M and K in the variety store to $72,000, and the pharmacy at $17,000. The bill has not been received today. John Dane Golson made a motion to accept the minutes with the clarifications. Mary Everett seconded the motion. Motion carried unanimously. Financial report. Martha stated that the bills are paid for October. Supplies expenditure was from Rollins for fixing the bathroom. Membership to Lions Club was paid. $51 went to Texas Midwest and Matador. Okay, that's probably not right. Because Texas Midwest is not in Matador. I'll have to find out what that is. Land up capital improvements expenditure was the air conditioner. $210 was for original pest control spray. Utilities paid at $692.45 was electric, water, and phone for the 3 buildings. $305 for the grass allotment for the land lot. All loans are current. As of the end of October, we have $13,917 in regular account, and instead of $3,965, it should be $39,065.52. So $39,065.52 is what was in the special account. So that's the correction. For a total of $52,982.52. The toilet has been taken out of the men's bathroom. There is now only 1 unisex bathroom. The other room has been changed to a kitchen. New tiles are up. A new sign exit must go up. Some tiles in the hall need finishing. Christmas lights are going up. Ronnie Moorhead made a motion to accept the financial report. Mary Everett seconded. Motion passed unanimously. Director's report. Martha was talking to the USDA and was supposed to be reporting yearly on the financial report to them. We are caught up on financials. In the past, we haven't been in compliance. When we took money from the special account to buy Kennedy building. Martha was told once the money was repaid, it was EDC's to renew as needed. That was wrong. It must go back to revolving loan. WKN monies have been put into the revolving account. We are not compliant with wheelchair accessibility, and that should be we are now. We are compliant. So
We are now?
Now, it should be now because we are compliant for wheelchair accessibility. We must raise the handicap sign up and stripe the ground. Martha will get with the city of Aspen and want to do that. Get that done. Also, in the future, if we accept a loan from anyone, paperwork needs to be sent to the USDA to also approve it. When Martha went to the Texas Midwest meeting, they had...
If we accept a loan from anyone, or we give a loan to them?
It should be when we give a loan, yes. Or maybe if we accept a loan application, because it's not that we have to get the USDA to approve the loan and the loan application. So I would put loan application.
Okay.
Well, we can talk about that later, but if we accept a loan application, that paperwork, even though we accept a loan application, or if we
take the loan application and we're seriously giving a loan, then we have to send that paperwork on to the USDA. They have to approve that loan also.
Has it always been that way, or?
Yes, that's what it's supposed to be doing.
Has it ever been done that way?
Don't know. We've only done one loan, the EDC has only done one loan, and that was on Chucho's.
Yeah.
And they have since accepted it, but that's something that we have to do now. Does that clarify, or do y'all want that more clarified?
y'all got it? That makes sense. If we accept a loan application,
Yeah.
that application has to be sent to the USDA.
Whether we make a loan or not, they get a copy
Yeah,
of any
that's my
application.
point.
Because
Okay.
that's their money that we're using. The
Okay.
USDA money is the money that we're using to do the loans.
Whether we gave the loan or not, they
Right.
still get a copy.
They have to get a copy, and they have, yes, because we have to say yes or no, and then they still have to approve it. When Martha went to the Texas Midwest meeting, they had a drawing for all cities and counties that attended the meeting for the Texas Leadership Institute from a program for the Texas Center for Rural Entrepreneurship. We won this and received a $2,500 workshop. It's a program to provide for the community. Martha will be working out the details with the other community entities. Martha will have all the audit information into the city today. Leslie Cheney asked on the status of our Pony Expresso back door. Martha said the ceiling is out. There's been a delay because the workers have been busy hanging Christmas lights. It will be done by January for sure. Martha also showed the board the picture that will be in the Texas Midwest book. Bills, there are no bills in yet for the month. Santa Rosa is high because of the move. Sonny from the city said that we would not be paying water on this building. City may take over payment. And that we might not be paying. It's not that we wouldn't be paying, he just said that,
Well, let's always speak to the fire.
I know, if he's here, we can find
Well,
out
he
now.
left.
You went on?
Started talking about that.
Oh, you can't hear me.
Well, he,
For the Springfield Courier, we split the cost with IDC for the sports games, which is $20 a month. Ronnie Moore had motion to accept the bill, seconded by Cecily Hay. Motion carried unanimously. Huh? Motion carried.
Like that.
Yeah. That's it. Yo! Possible action. Old office, 612 South Washington. Hair shop is still interested in occupying that building. Martha hasn't heard back recently from them for new details. The wall should go up by January, still have to put in floor for the hair shop. Rent increases discussed with the pharmacy from $100 to $200. Pony Expresso will be paying $30 quarterly and pharmacy $30 for pest control. Donna is paying rent still and planning on paying the floor, though she has done nothing with the building. She was at $100 rental. Pony Expresso is paying $200 for a year and a half. Instead of the year and a half, it's just that she pays $200 a month. Ronnie Moore had asked the possibility of increasing Pony Expresso due to the expansions. After discussion, the board will wait on any increase for this business. The rental for the hair shop was discussed and set at no cost for the first 6 months to help with the startup cost of the new business. Ellen made the motion to start rental for the hair shop at 0 for 6 months. Mary Everett seconded, motion carried unanimously. On the roof repair, Ken said he felt he could patch with polyurethane foam and latex to cover. $2,434 to get bar to do the roof coating. That would be good for 6 months to a year. With gravel, it may go for longer. It was decided to allow local business to work on the roof. EDC land, there are 2 options on the land. Stephanie spoke to the board as a representative for the Double Mountain Lawnmower Association. They would develop BMX tracks, clear and clean up the area. There will be organized meetings of the Double Mountain Lawnmower Association and entrance fees to the races. Stephanie will be doing more work after the holidays to get everything organized for this endeavor. Martha is purchasing a sign for the EDC. Continuing on the land, Martha said there is an offer to purchase the land by adjoining landowners. Ronnie Moorhead pointed out that the land was originally purchased for endeavors such as what Double Mountain Lawnmower Association is asking to do. Consensus was that the land should be kept by EDC to bring more to the community. The EDC would also be benefit by getting some of the entry fees as revenue. John Dane recommended we look into speaking with the lawyer on the liability issues. Martha was instructed to let the buyers know we will not be selling it. There will be an open house to show up in the building November 15th from 2 to 6 p.m. Invitations are going out. Expenses will come out of the supplies or advertising budget. Workshop for the $2,500 will be in the spring on promotional items. The board asked if such items are wanted. This includes cans, calendars, cups, etc. IDC says no, they're not interested. EDC board collectively will not proceed. They announced that they had their first dance meeting. The Baptist Church is hosting them to the end of the year. They will need space after that to rent. The Trinity Drug building came to mind as a good place for such a dance, gymnastics, and/or martial arts place. Nothing was decided. John Dane made a motion to adjourn. Second. Motion carried unanimously. Adjourned at 9:11 p.m. With corrections, do y'all any?
Yeah, do we have any corrections to the minutes that were read?
Mayor, I think the ones we made as we went along.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Texas Midwest
And Matt, I think that's I really don't.
Texas Midwest in Matador.
And the question was Matador?
Yeah, I kind of think that was some travel that I did to.
to Matador. Did you go to Matador?
I did go to Matador, but I couldn't remember when. I think that was in August. But it was Four Winds RC&D meeting. Texas Midwest was in Abilene, so I'll just have to look back and see what that. It was some trip, probably the $51. It's going to be a financial deal. I mean, like a.
Yeah.
Because with that $51 is not a payment. Texas Midwest is more than $51, and Four Winds RC&D is just now. We just now got a bill for
Can
it.
you want to just delete that?
Exclude it this time and get it right.
Okay.
Let's just delete $51 went to Texas Midwest in Matador. Okay?
Okay. We'll delete for clarification later.
What is the utilities paid to $692 electric water pump for the 3 buildings, $305 for grass allotment for the land?
We received 300. I think she was on your bills that y'all have listed in October. $305. We received $305 from the USDA for our grass allotment on the land, the EDC land, instead of the land lot.
That's
should be
income, not
yes,
expense.
yes, and that was EDC land, and $305 was your money from the government. So that was income.
Okay, and on the regular account it said, we have $39,652, right, in the special account, and what do we got for the total?
The total is right, $52,982.52 is right. But she had $3,965 when it was $39,000.
$39,065.
You have a column on the wrong place.
Yep, that was zero, yep. So.
But thank you, Ellen, for
Do we, have a motion to accept the minutes as amended?
I'll make the motion.
We have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Accepting it. Okay. Okay, on the director's report.
Did y'all have a chance to read it? That was basically October
I
and
read it in,
November and December.
yeah, I've read it, the other day.
Okay, there's no changes on that.
What kind of response did you have on what brain dead forgot about the open house?
We had about 25 people. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot again, because the announcement didn't get out in the paper soon enough and all that. We, put out brochures and stuff, but anyway, we had a good time. We've had a lot of people come through since. That still come by and check out.
You're gonna have to call me, Martha. Give me a moment to get me regularly.
But it
I
was,
felt so bad, good grief.
I guess we talked about that before, because it was in the minutes, man, but that's $2,500, and that, they will pay us $2,500 to put this workshop on?
no, that, the whole workshop is a value of $2,500. So we don't have to pay anything.
Okay, so
We just-
where's the workshop?
It's going to be here in Escamont,
What's that?
and we're gonna get the county, the city, the school board, the hospital board, the boards to come together, because the whole point of it is to kind of help the community get a vision, the boards to work together, where we're all working together instead of saying the school, so, well, we're gonna do this, and so, well, we were gonna do this, but, kind of where we all work together and learn how to have the same vision.
Or how to utilize. Where does the $2,500 come in?
That's how much the workshop costs, but it's free, we don't have to pay anything.
They're gonna send people in here to put
Yes,
that workshop on?
all the paperwork and
To instruct us.
everything.
No money's changing hands, they're
No.
just gonna do work.
Okay.
The value is, we got a
So they're gonna-
$2,500 workshop for free.
Okay.
That's
Gotcha.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. And I did, this workshop I went to earlier in December was kind of a precursor of it. And it was very interesting, and I think it's gonna be something worthwhile. Because it's talking about, you have all these circles of all the boards and everybody working, but you've got to all work together to say, well, if you're gonna do this school, then the EDC or IDC might be helping this, and then the city council might be helping you with this, and the commissioners, and then let's see what we can do to work all together.
Well, let's go to the financial report.
The bills haven't come in, of course, because it's the second day, and they're all hit around the 3rd to the 6th. There's 2 memberships coming up. The Texas Midwest Economic Development Alliance is coming up. EDC will pay it's the value, the membership is $250, and it's got a lot of seminars and dinners and stuff like that, but the thing of it is it's really a lot of the EDC directors saying, this is what's working in our community, what can we do, this worked here, this worked there, and the IDC part is $62.50, and ours is $187.50.
Well, have you been to their meetings?
Yes, yes,
Are they helpful?
yes, very much so. So I would appreciate continuing to be part of that
Okay.
membership. I know you do get a lot of good ideas, and they do put on a lot of different networks and stuff like that. And the 4 Winds RC and D, normally, I don't know if EDC's been a member by themselves, IDC's been a member. They do a lot of the grants. They can look for grant searches, part of our membership, where if we ask them, the purpose is, it used to be sponsored through the USDA, but that was one of the government cuts. Purpose is to accelerate the conservation, development, and utilization of natural resources improve the general level of economic activity, and to enhance the environment and standard of living in designated RCD areas. They'll help city governments and small businesses search and apply for grants, help improve communities, and generate economic development in the surrounding areas. They're kind of hanging on, I mean, it's really don't have the membership. They have a statewide, it's more locally owned now. The counties involved are Throckmorton, Wilbarger, Baylor, Childress, Cottle, Dickens, Ford, Hardeman, Haskell, King, Knox, Motley, and Stonewall. So there's a variety, but I mean, they do, but they're going up, instead of $25, they're going up to $50 because they're not getting any supplements from the government. One of the things they used to do is check a lot of the water, did a lot of water testing, and they still have some of that water testing equipment, but they did a lot of.
They used to have the grants too.
Yes, they did the grant, a matching grant of $250, redid the kitchen in our old office. They helped the senior citizens, they've helped the Little League Park. So they do, I mean, the grants, they do matching grants. You know, it's just $250, it's usually just a $250 grant, but $250 is $250.
And water testing?
They do,
Wells and.
yeah, wells and stuff like that, and what's it going out on
Tanks.
your plates, yeah, I think so. Not necessarily that, more wells, I think. And
Wells,
I'm not sure how much they
wasn't
do
it?
that anymore.
Been involved in any of that?
I'm not sure how much they do that anymore. I know they still have the water testing equipment, which might be useful for some of our outside water lines, if we have to have, I don't know, because that stuff's available. I think it's worth at least hanging in there one more year. Truthfully.
I would make a motion that we continue with the Four Winds at least one more year.
So we have a second on that?
Sure.
All in favor, raise your right hand.
Was that on the agenda as such, or that was?
It was just on the financial.
Okay, well, we better
kinda-
back, I'm sorry.
Well, it's not really on the agenda, but it's listed on the bills to whether or not you
Well,
approve
if you
it.
pay the bills,
It's
let me
got
know.
Wind's RC&D membership on the thing.
Okay,
Item number 8.
let's just do it that way then.
Yeah, just
Y'all wanna do it that
when
way?
we get ready to approve the bills, let's just leave it on there. I didn't.
Well, that's about all that's in there, it's,
Well, it is actually, but
you know.
Four Winds R&D, so I'll put that back in there as a motion.
So you're gonna motion it?
We're trying to talk me out of this.
Jump from
You never
finance
do anything.
down to item number 8.
I'm slow.
Vote on that.
Real slow.
I think we've already done that, haven't we?
I think so. I think
Okay.
would be.
We've approved
Oh,
it.
yeah. Do the bills.
Big decliner.
Let's do a motion to approve the bill.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve it.
And a second. Do we have a second?
Well-
Wait a minute.
I'm pretty good at
Not that
seconding.
many on there this time.
Okay, here, all in favor? Raise your right hand. Okay.
Also on the financial report, I'm skipping around on that. If you'll notice after the bills that, I mean, the one that has the yellow, the
Yeah.
page right after it, I'm really kind of excited about that. We're almost like on budget.
I came running in my office the other day and said, look.
If you notice our balances on the second page, it has how much, if our budget starting off at $70,249, we've used up, we have $51,034.05 left on our budget. Well, with our income, with what we've gotten from our income, we have $51,387.81 that we have to get, so we're just a $300. Anyway, but that shows you how much we've spent, how much we have left, how much we have left in our budget for the utilities, supplies, advertising, and all that,
On the second page.
on that second page. We did pay our insurance. The insurance for our buildings was $1,153. We paid that in December. Our capital improvements and projects, We're up to around $2,000 on the Pony Espresso renovation. And that's the electrical and putting in the electrical and all that, and Dennis Graham is helping us on that, along with Ken and Rusty are doing that. And then we'll be starting on the other part of it, the beauty shop. They should finish the room this week as far as the electrical, and then it'll be up to Susan to get the plumbing in.
Susan. Oh, okay.
Rosenberg, yeah, she's gonna,
I thought you talked about the beauty shop.
no, you gotta jump with my mind here.
Okay. You lost me there. We
Anyway.
was talking about the beauty shop.
Beauty
You
shop,
went back.
and then the electrical, but we've been working mainly on that kitchen area
Okay.
for Susan. And
Get her
she's
back there.
having to do, she's gonna do the plumbing, and she will be paying for that, but they're having to,
When are they gonna take the wall out?
well, they're not taking out the wall.
I know we got the wall up, but we got a
Well,
opening there.
Well, we already have the opening out.
Oh, it is?
It is, I mean, he has to frame out that door, and that, I mean, he's gonna have to cut the studs that are there and all that. I mean, we have a door.
There's an opening?
There is an opening.
Okay.
And he's worked on the back door to where it has we didn't have a lock on that back door other than inside, so he's had to change the knob out on the back door, so they can get in the back door, with a key. Now, I mean, there's a lot of work being done, but there's still a long ways to go.
Yeah, on the floor. What are they gonna do?
We're going to, G&G's gonna put that limit on, and they'll come back in and look at all of it and figure that out.
We're about to get plenty of money.
Morning, Dan.
Well, I heard good, and I said, we're just about to get all the money we can afford tied up in that little restaurant.
Sir?
This should be the last.
It's a good business, and it's a lot, but we're getting a lot of money out of it.
So hopefully this will be the last project, and this will be the last, and it will be almost, I don't expect it to go more than 1,000 more total on her spot, on our side. A total of 3,000 is what I'm cutting it off. So, and that kinda goes into the next project part. But anyway, so they're working on, that's the only thing that we're that's really going to hurt us on that project.
Okay.
But our bank account has expanded some.
Yes, we're still getting a little over 6,000 a month.
Well, and back in October, into October, we were just shy of 53,000, and now we're just shy of 60,000. So, we've increased by about $7,000. That's a good sign.
That is a very good thing.
We've already approved the bill.
Yeah.
So we're.
It wasn't Carwar's problems.
That's always a good phone call.
Didn't we just discuss the Four Winds?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it is there. He
Yeah.
could have approved it. You did approve it, evidently.
Well, we didn't vote on it yet. We decided we'll do the bills first.
Okay, we're gonna do that.
We've already got a motion.
Yeah, but we've already got a motion on that.
Man, I left the room, cause we got to start back over.
Now, let me think it now before they. No.
And I'm for the Four Winds.
And I already seconded it.
So
I'll vote for it then.
Okay, me too. Okay, now that's.
I don't want to do that.
Never mind.
You made the motion, don't vote against it.
Yes, I voted against me.
Make a motion and vote against it.
Yeah.
Would he really?
Of course, he did a lot of things.
That's another story,
You just
isn't
wanted
it?
it to come up for a vote, so we could vote against it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we done? I voted for it.
Okay, we're done. It's accepted. Okay, Double Mountain, Fork Reservoir, and we really needed Gary here.
Yes. He wanted me to look, he was talking about trying to hire with other cities and communities around us, see about hiring a lobbyist. Well, internet is like, according to the internet, it's between 5,000 and 10,000 a month. So
I want to be a lobbyist.
I know, we're the wrong business.
Do y'all need somebody?
We'll go down there.
Well, after they voted the other day, I don't think that's gonna take care of it either. It's probably higher now.
On the lobbying.
Oh, yeah, and it went from 192,000 to 217,000 a year, so you know, the lobbyist is gonna go up to.
Well,
Anyway.
he had talked about trying to get to, it's a retired state rep, I think, that he knows, does some lobbying. I don't know what kind of a fee they want, or, I do know that about the only way to get anything done, it seems like either in Austin or Washington, either one, is to have a hired lobbyist. However, the 83rd legislature is supposed to convene the 8th, what is it, Monday? And one of their top priorities is water. So, and I've put the bug in every year I can find on that thing, so.
In February, the Texas Midwest will be going to Austin for the legislature session and visiting with legislatures. And that will be one of the things I will be discussing,
Yeah.
getting more
You
information.
know, like I say, there's always been 3 priorities that they've worked on. This year, they've added that 4th one, and it's water. Because all of them down there realize that the state is gonna have to get proactive in expanding our water resources. This drought has focused everybody's attention on that.
But they're gonna do it down near the major cities, they're not gonna do it
Well,
out here.
the thing about this project out here, why they would maybe look at it is as a holding facility.
Yeah. Hold it up the train.
Over here, and then as they use it in their reservoirs down there, then, you know, release water here and to flow down.
That's basically what, they got on the Rio Grande with,
Yeah.
Falcon and Hampstead.
Yeah, that's, you know, there's no real major.
It's not made for recreation,
Right.
it's made for,
As a holding facility for water for the urban areas downstream.
and for the valley to irrigate.
See, that's basically what Possum Kingdom is for.
Yeah.
It's the first major reservoir on the Brazos. And there's a lot of recreation there, but there's not a big metropolitan area right there. So they use it to release water downstream. That could work in our favor some, because they realize that there's not always a viable spot to build a reservoir right there around the populated area. So they're gonna have to start looking at some of these other outlying areas to do that. So,
You've got the area.
you know,
Yeah.
We also have sinkholes.
True. We have our own personal cracks that open up, right?
Okay, let's go to EDC land for Double Mountain Sport, Motorsport.
Okay. Sonny, could you talk to us a little bit about what the attorney said? Because we talked about trying to use the IDC money and we can't because.
Right, in order to use, one of the options was to take and sell, the EDC could sell the land to the IDC because the IDC had the money. The problem with that is it doesn't fall within the rights realm of things, so it would have to come up to a public vote. You'd actually have to have a vote to approve that particular project, no matter what. Now, the EDC can do 3 or 4 different options with this deal. They can lease the land to them at a reasonable amount, and then they take responsibility of the land and pay the EDC a yearly lease amount, and then they take responsibility for any accidents, any of that stuff. It'd be just like any other leasing option there is. It just has to be a reasonable amount of what the going price is for a lease. Also, the EDC can finance it at a reasonable financial amount, just like the bank. The EDC can loan the Double Mountain Racing the money to get the loan. All of those options they fall right into where it needs to be. So it's basically what, the EDC wants options they want to go, and of course, get the approval from the city, and then y'all can do pretty much those particular things. So you can sell the land, you can lease the land, you can finance the land, you just cannot finance the whole thing. You can only do what I think a bank would do would be you could actually give them a 10% or the 20% of the value of the land in order for them to be able to go purchase it, but you can't do the whole thing. That was what the lawyer was explaining to that point. But there is some other options that you can do in order for it to open up for that. I say the EDC owns the land, and the EDC or IDC, doesn't matter, can liquidate it any time. Doesn't matter. So as long as you get a market value for the land, then it doesn't have to go before a vote for the the community to vote whether or not you sell it or not. If you try to go lower, then you would have to open a vote up for the community to vote on it. Open public hearings and things like that. But for anything reasonable or market value, then the EDC can present it to the council and approve it, and it can go. So that's all that I found out. I just know that it cannot be an IDC project. It just doesn't fall within the right realms of stuff. But it does fall within several of the EDC's options to do. And I think whatever option is best for the EDC will be, up to y'all, and whatever y'all can work out.
Let me ask you this. On any other project, we can waive lease agreements for a given amount of time on any new startup business. We've even discussed providing a building that we didn't own to a business rent-free for the first 6 months. What would be wrong with looking at the idea that we can lease that to them, but say, let them pay that lease in a maintenance in kind or work in kind? In other words, they're willing to do the work out there to build the facilities, build the track, allow that to be counted as the lease, as if making improvements on the land. Is that not be
as long as it is what he explained, as long as it is within reasonable amounts, to where you're not
that's
playing.
But they're going to have to make they're going to have to make some improvements on our property.
Right, and that would
allow those improvements to count toward the lease for 1, 2, 3 years.
I mean, it's gonna
Would
cost
that
a
work,
lot,
John?
yeah.
As long as the lease would say that.
I wouldn't think that'd be a reasonable option.
Is that something that Keith, that y'all could?
That's what we kind of.
Yeah. I mean,
And the
y'all
thing is-
kind of already made arrangements to do that, have you not?
Exactly.
And so, they can put a dollar figure on what it's gonna cost them to do that and count that as improvements on our property that we own, and we can allow that to work as their payment in kind toward the lease.
Well, that particular land where we're discussing doesn't fall under the same realm as the land that the city has right now. Now, the city has to put it out for bids if we owned it. Y'all particularly don't have to do that. So whatever y'all's agreement would be between y'all and whoever leases the land. It's not necessarily, as long as it is reasonable. That was the word. As long as it was reasonable, then there is no. I don't think there's any other issues that would fall under that. The only issues would be is if you loaned actual monies to, then it would have to be, you'd have to do all your research.
I don't think we've been approached for anything like that up to this point. It's just primarily getting the land in their hands, with us having that waiver on the liability end of it.
Mm-hmm.
And John brought that up, good point. I think we can work that out, but as far as, we're here to try to help this community and bring business in here. That's a viable option. That's what the property was purchased for to begin with, something along that line.
That's why it falls so easy into this deal,
Right.
because it was set up for those particular projects. And so, as far as what the city attorney relayed to me is that it is very much an approvable EDC project, period. And so.
Does that sound fair to you,
And if-
Leslie?
if we need-
something like that?
Technical, we can always pay them to clean it up, and they turn around and pay us the lease.
Yeah, well, it's just
We don't-
a paperwork drill.
Paperwork
They're
drill.
gonna be working, and so we just, I realize it's just, you know, but that can be worked out, because they're gonna be spending some money out there to get this track in, to make the improvements, access in and out, that sort of thing. It's improvements on property we own, we can let count, I mean, that's just like any renter. Okay, you can rent this house, but if you'll go in there and remodel the thing, that offsets the rent. That's basically what we're talking about here.
And that's what the line.
Yeah, that way they're not out any upfront money in any way on that thing. Because I think this thing is, you know, it's tentative at best, but I think it has a shot to go.
I want to chime in here just a minute on just a little futuristic thinking about this. That deal out there is not fenced between the actual swink land and the land y'all own.
Right.
Okay, that's gonna be an expense. You're gonna, I mean, I would think you'd wanna fence it.
Yes.
That's a mile across that. I figured right at a mile. You know, mile fence gonna cost you somewhere around $6,500, $7,000. I mean, that's right off the top. That's not counting no right-of-way work, you know, that's just counting, just building a full-wire fence at best, you know. There's no water out there, and there's no, well, there's electricity, but that's I forget what they told me that was a service, that was a carrier line. I don't know, the airport's got service there, but you know, that's not just like a regular line you'd tie into. You know, I didn't get to go to the last meeting that they had, and but I had this little thought back in you know, back here in December when the city was taking bids on this little property they got out here behind the lake. They got, what is it, 72 acres, 78 acres?
76.8.
76 acres. That's already fenced. That's more of an old red skull. It's not as near as brushy as that is. Keith and I went and looked at this. We walked that out pretty good. This out here, you know, I walked it out. You know, the city owns it. The way I understood the contract, the lease, not the lease, but the bid, you know, you bid on it, you submit a lease to the city within 10 days or 2 weeks, and, you know, you lease it with an option for 4 more years. Is that basically how it?
Yeah, it's a lease for 4 years. Is what
Well,
it is.
5 this year plus additional 4, wasn't it? It's 5 years altogether.
5-year total.
You know, that could be, I don't know how many people bid on it. I was told 3.
No, there was more.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, you know, the city's got the right to refuse or accept any and all bids. That might be a better deal for us out there to stay out of all this hassle and all this deal than trying to get out yonder. We've already got electricity out there. We've already got water. You know, it's just a thought. It's not near as brushy. It's fenced. It's got a fence down the highway. It's got, you know, it's fenced. I mean, Keith and I talked about it just briefly the other day, but, you know, I'm thinking about the expense of this. You know, everybody in this little deal kind of got a job and works for, you know, and I've got out here and beat the bushes, and I think we've got about $2,000 donated to this. We're going to have to spend this money pretty wisely. I wanted to get that deal out there done, you know, back when we started. Keith and I went out there and looked at it, and we talked about getting there and getting the brush cleared, because the boys, they sold their tractor. So, you know, now we're down to nothing. We don't have a dozer. And I don't really think that'd be a big deal. I think we could come up with one, but, you know, they had offered to let us use their old tractor to clear that out. Well, it's gone, you know. They still got that blade, but we're going to have to, it's going to take an all-out deal, and we're going to need to do, we need the most bang for the less buck. This deal out here, you know, could be a better deal and way less expensive than this deal out here could be for us. You know, that's just something, we'd like the option either or, you know, I guess is what we're saying. I don't know, when's the city open their bids on this other deal, son?
We'll open the bids up on the council meeting. I think it's 18.
So, you know, if we don't get this deal out here, then, you know, we'll have to go with this. But this deal out here, I
Y'all
think,
did submit a bid for, on it?
I did. I didn't have a chance to talk to nobody. I submitted a bid on it, you know. But again, the city's got the right to refuse or accept. Yeah. And we, you know, what we're trying to do is we're trying to just get some spot where we can call ours and we don't have to deal, because, you know, we've got this deal coming up in April. And we've got to get on the stick if we're gonna try to participate. Don't you think, Keith?
Definitely do.
Well, the other thing, y'all don't need the whole, I mean, theoretically, y'all don't need a whole 160 acres.
No.
How many, like, 5, 10 acres? I mean, you know, yes, we put the mile fence, but in reality, you wouldn't have to.
Well,
I mean, you could fence some of it off. I'm just saying, you know, I mean, that might be another option instead of fencing all of it where they have room, whatever they do, but, I mean, do y'all have to have the whole 160 acres?
no,
Or is there a way-
we don't have to have the whole 160 acres, but if I was gonna build a fence on my property, I'd fence my property off. I mean, if I was the
Right.
EDC board, I wouldn't build a quarter mile of fence and then build a cross fence across it. You know, I'd fence it all, or I wouldn't fence none of it. You know?
I think the deal is on some of that need to realize is that, CRP field needs to be separated from
It won't
the
ever go
other.
back into CRP.
Well,
I mean,
but,
But it is cultivation.
it is, yeah.
so,
Can be.
you know, that's one thing that might need to be approached eventually, is that you do separate the two. And then, if it ever does go back into that, if they go into that deal, then it's already fenced in, separate from that other deal. Plus it gives you two leasing options, two different.
But, you know, I was out there yesterday looking again, and, you know, there's the west side of that's full of cows. You know, I don't know, do y'all have a grass lease on that now? See, that's another option y'all might wanna look at.
Well, okay, if you get this out here at the lake, will y'all need anything from the EDC to help y'all get this thing up and go?
I think if we could get this out here to the lake, my honest thought is, and Keith hadn't been out there and looked at it, I went out there and looked at it, I think we could get to going out there in half the time it would take to go out yonder, because number one, that's already fenced off. It's more of a kind of a dirt that they'd want to race. It's more of a red skull than this, you know, that's good dirt out there on that deal out there. That's good black dirt. But we've raced in that black dirt, and everybody tells me, the people I talk to says you need more of a red skull, clay dirt.
Spins better.
And, you know, I went out there and looked at that thing here the other day. I talked to Sonny about it, and you know, it's just before Christmas, and couldn't get nobody together. It's not no good to try to lease it and run a cow on it or nothing, because the fact is, there's not enough of it. And, but this deal for this the track out there, I think that would be a good spot. I mean, you know, it's, you know, of course, we may be way off on it, but I think I made a bid on it that was reasonable, you know, for that many acres. And, I was gonna run that by you know, next time we had a race, but this meeting come first, you know, and, but that's just, we'd like the opportunity to have either or, you know. We don't want both of them. You know, we sure don't want both of them, but if this deal out here falls out, we'd like, you know, we still need that deal out there, because we're gonna have to do some serious work between now and April. I mean, you're not talking that many days. You're talking what, 3 months?
90 days.
You know,
Well, so really, we can't take any action or anything. We just need to wait on y'all to see what.
well, I guess we need to wait and see what the city does.
Okay.
I think Tammy told me the 15th.
Yeah, I just looked.
And that would be y'all's first option out here, if at least, if you get the bids.
I would say, I would vote for that being the first option. Now, the rest, I'm just one Indian. You know, I hadn't even talked to the chief about it.
You're kind of the chief type.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Well, the thing of it
He's
is,
the chief.
That's right, long
He's
time.
the
either
chief
way,
on that one.
wherever they get, whatever they do, whether it be there, whether they come up with another place, whatever that deal, it is still very much an EDC project.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I'm saying.
that's where we stand on that.
We may have to have a meeting, depending on what y'all's needs are, before our next scheduled meeting, so.
Well, that's understandable, but I just, you know, this deal out here, I mean, you think about that out there, all that fencing and stuff gonna have to be done, and all that, I don't wanna have to build a mile of fence. I'm not saying I wouldn't, but, you know, you're talking about a pretty good expense. I know what a mile of fence is costing us to get built up there at Peacock.
Bill, what about, you know, there's cattle there, what about just electric fence?
That, again, listen, that'd be fine, but you know, time you I don't know, that'd be between you and I mean, that would be between the property owners, I would say, you know, if they want an electric fence there, that might be a way to go. But, you know, you'd have to put a solar charger out there and all that, you know, that's another option, you know, but, I'm just saying, before you ever make a commitment to that, you're gonna have to have some way or another, you know, to separate the two properties, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Has that thing ever been surveyed?
Probably when it was first bought, maybe.
I mean, you know where the property line is you know where the property line is to the east, and you know how many acres you bought. Would it, I mean, this is just theoretical, but would it be satisfactory to go to the ASC office and see how far you come down on each side to have 160 acres or whatever it is you got bought? You know, you come 956 foot or whatever on each side and shoot a straight line across. You know, I don't know what kind of deal it was made when it was bought, but you know, that's something else. The other party of that might want that survey before you put any kind of fence up there. I don't know that, but you know, that's, if there's a survey marker, if anybody knows, you know, I think.
There was, and I don't remember, that's been so long ago, but there was a marker there.
Well, you know, it needs to be, John Dade. I mean, y'all need to know that.
We knew where the boundary was, and I don't remember if we had it surveyed or, you know, how things are.
Right.
But we knew where, Stanley and I found the
survey markers?
The marker.
Yeah. I mean, we don't care, we just, you know, I want to see this deal get to going for the community as much as anybody, but, you know, I think, having Keith as president of our deal is an excellent deal. And, you know, I'm the head of him anyway, but I just think that, we need to go with something that's.
Well, y'all need to do what's best for y'all, and I think that's what this board would want. I mean, we're not doing it to get rid of the land, we're doing it.
And I think we'd stand ready, if y'all needed the EDC's assistance in some way, I think we'd be, more
The only
willing to
thing that
try to do
bothers
what
me,
we could.
and I know y'all thought about it, I don't have to bring this up, is your neighbors. You're gonna have neighbors fairly close out here. And how noisy is it? I mean, is that a?
It's not loud at all.
Do you wanna?
Well, one neighbor already found out that they was thinking about it, so they put a bid in too, so.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean,
how's the parking out there? You're gonna
Well, it's just, I mean, it's as good as it'd be out there. I mean, you know, this is 70 acres, that's 160. You know, we probably need, I would say,
40.
yeah, 30, 40 acres would kill us. I mean, that would be a plenty of room, you know, and, I just, you know, as far as neighbors and noise, I guess it's outside the city limits, you know, I guess a man get out there and build a cotton gin if he wanted to, and we wouldn't be as loud as the cotton gin, you know,
And we race once a week, every other week for
Yeah, I mean,
Hour and a half.
and,
Hour and a
yeah, an
half.
hour and a half at max, I mean, you know.
And it ain't at night.
That could change.
That's, you know, that's about as long, about an hour and a half, everybody's bleeding pretty good.
Yeah, you know, I mean, that's, you know, that's about all we can say.
Are we gonna get into some regular go-karts out there?
Yeah, we want to, but we gotta, you know, yeah, we've got to do, we wanna do a lot of different things.
We're cheap.
Ronnie
We're
wants
really,
to do
really
the
cheap.
BMX bikes, you know, and stuff like that, you know, eventually. I mean, it's got option to grow, it's just that we've gotta get it off the,
Yeah.
off
You know,
the starting block right now.
There used to be a big motocross thing not too far from here that was just unbelievable how many people came into the community, and they don't do it anymore.
Is that the one in
It
Seymour?
got so big they couldn't
On
handle it.
Spur?
Basically.
It would be kind of nice. We have such a huge amount of open spots and
Yeah.
spaces, and
Yeah, there's even some more city land out here that Sonny's
That
looking at
motocross
too.
got to the point
Well,
where
we've
there was
got the-
probably
Yes, sir.
12,000 people showing up.
Yeah, and see, that's kinda what happened to Seymour. Seymour started theirs, I talked to the boy who worked at Seymour, and I can't tell you his name right now, but they started theirs, they built them a little track in town, I think 500 foot long, 525 foot. It's right there in town, right on the city block, and they outgrew that thing so quick that their people went to going elsewhere, like down to Graham, Wichita Falls.
Yeah.
And he said, what happened was, we come in here and built a little track, and it's a neat little track. And, but he said, we just outgrew it so fast that everybody went elsewhere, and we never could get rooted back here, you know.
Yeah.
we went to there quite a bit because my boys and I did that a lot. And the big issue there was space.
Yeah.
I mean, once you went to the pit, you know, which is where we always were, that was the worst part of it. I mean, people coming to watch was great.
Yeah.
The racers were, you know, just had no room.
But we need to, you know, the people, and I can't tell you their name either, I think Keith's talked to some of them, and I've had some people calling me about it. There's a bunch over in Hamlin that's interested, you know.
Well, see, that's the thing that I'm
Jayden.
interested in this thing, is because I've seen what can happen, but I also know you have to be prepared, because I've seen this thing up here in Kent County. I saw the same thing happen out in family, did a little deal out in Clovis, New Mexico. The thing grew so fast, and they didn't have any place to expand, they ended up having to shut down, because they just couldn't keep up.
I just think that opportunities for this particular type project are there because you're also looking at actually establishing a new business.
Yeah.
Parks and chains and things like that. We don't have that here, and it could be a good business.
Could be. It could expand their
That's,
downtown
we need
business.
a place, yeah, we need a place though where we can expand instead of, like you said, it just drying up and everybody going someplace else like in Seymour, you know.
So a place, 70 acres would give you room.
Yeah.
This
Is that
property
included?
that we own would give you room
No.
to do that.
No, the dam is behind, the fence row is behind the lake, what, 75, 80 foot off the dam, off the base of the dam back to the east. You know, and it,
And that's another thing that, and I know y'all thought that, but if this thing grows like that, you're gonna need more space for parking than you do for racing.
That's what I was asking about.
And see, we've already got some people that said they would help us with, like, stands, you know, stadium stands and stuff like that. You know, we got some people that said they would have some bills, they would be the sponsor for them, you know, we've already got 2 sponsors right now, you know, and so.
I think whichever direction y'all decide to go, I think the EDC board would stand ready to do what we can within our limits to help y'all get this thing going. I can see a potential here.
Well, you know, if that one starts growing within the next 2 to 5 years, that gives us enough time to do something
Well,
with this and land out here.
the only thing that I liked about this deal out here is, it's got private land to the south. It's got, you know, it's got plenty of brush and stuff to the north. That old lake dam's on the west side of it. You got the road on the east side, which is fenced. You know, it's a little bit more accessible. It's a little bit more secure than what we would be out here just kinda, I mean, this out here is great, don't get me wrong, but, you know, I mean, either one would be great. I just, you know, this deal out here is more the kind of dirt that we need, you know, but,
And plus the electricity and water's already there too, that's an expense,
Plus the
we
labor.
don't,
Yeah.
you know, we won't have to be out, because they say there's
You
no
may have
water
a
out
water
there
faucet,
anyway.
you just may not have any water.
Uh,
You may have a water faucet, you just may not have any water.
That's true, that's true. Hey, I know some people in the water well business, so.
I don't necessarily mean there's gonna be no water.
Yeah, I know, that's true, because I had to water at my house, and they
Sometimes
work,
magic.
yeah, they gotta work that magic.
Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed.
That's, we want, like I said, this come up after we was already kind of on the agenda stuff for this, but we won't know till the 15th, till he opens the sealed bids
Well,
and stuff
let
like
us
that.
know, and if we need to meet again, we can meet again.
At 7:30 again?
I'm thinking 6:30.
She's still in Mary. This 7:30 in the morning, still in Mary.
Yeah, the weather starts to warm up, which it's gonna do in another month or two.
Yeah.
You know, the crappie's gonna go to biting, we'll be out there.
So we're gonna be out for another.
6:30's probably.
Oh, my God.
Well, we appreciate y'all coming.
Just
talking
don't
to us
weaken.
about this.
We're not, we're gonna keep it up, and we've got a good board, and we've got some good members and stuff that's gonna keep it
Be
up.
president.
Yeah.
How'd y'all talk him into that? I guess
yeah.
Okay.
You had it.
Actually, I was there.
Actually, he was there.
It was
And
kind
it
of a,
happened anyway.
yeah.
Yeah, I did.
It did.
He gave the best speech, what he thought he could do.
He ran for that job.
Yeah.
Or
Ran
ran
from
from
that job.
Well, we don't have any questions for me, we have to go do
we
the water
appreciate it,
test.
Sonny.
Hey, y'all need to look over there by,
Arthur McCoy.
Arvin McCoy's, you know where that is?
Down here.
There's water.
Behind the jail,
Way
one
back.
block. I noticed the ditch full of water.
Yeah, it's right there in that curve,
I don't
around that
think-
curve.
I don't think we had no
Happy New
rain.
Year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, we had a leak there at Christmas.
Well, that may be
No,
what it
this
is.
is way on the other side though, Sonny. I
Back
think.
that way.
Oh, okay, yeah. That was
Also,
great,
y'all,
Sonny.
a little bit of information on this legislation thing that's coming up. One of the deals on that was for this area to elect a water marshal. I mean, have you read any about that? We don't need that, so if you get that particular information in your office, they want you to vote to send it, and it's not a good idea. They're
Water
working
marshal?
underneath the QCQ.
No,
No.
that's not a good idea.
No.
Thank you,
y'all.
Sonny.
Thank y'all.
Okay.
We appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Good luck
Good
with
luck.
it, Keith.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I just, we just,
President, we appreciate it.
Let me get that on camera.
so y'all like, hey,
I look like some smoke up that fast.
We do. We appreciate everything you do for us. Hey, we'll go out here and look at this deal when you get a moment.
I'll holler at you. All right, see
See
y'all.
you later, Keith.
Okay,
I need to go too, if y'all stay with me.
yeah, we're,
We were through you before you started.
thanks, Sheriff.
I had a break-in last night.
Uh-oh.
Is it just the one?
Ronnie, they dropped their cell phone.
Oh, wow, you gotta hate when that happens.
They just got
You know,
I've got two
let me see
messages
if I
while
still
I'm
got
sitting
my
here waiting.
Where was it got broken in?
Okay.
Yeah. They dropped
They-
their
they
cell
do
phone.
it.
I done talked to somebody a while ago, it was ringing, he said, answer it and see whose phone it is. I'm like, stay on this phone, I need to know who this is.
being too bright.
Yeah.
How much damage do they do?
They broke the window and stole her cash register, which she said had probably had $4 worth of quarters in it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
Broke the front window.
No,
Back
the
window.
back, I said window, they broke that bottom out of that glass door. Now I gotta go see this person, cause I've done got two messages.
Oh,
You
my
know,
gosh.
this message, it may be important.
Me and the cat dog here.
Well, this is your job, Beatty, is it? Yeah.
Really,
Get 'em ready.
He's gotta go fight crime and save lives. Yeah, drop their cell phone.
That's the kind of criminal I'd be.
Me too, yeah.
Are you leaving?
I need, we're about through, aren't we?
Well,
I don't really
projects.
have any projects, if y'all have
Okay.
anything, y'all just think about.
Was
things
that
y'all
your
want me to
motion?
do.
Yeah, I got,
Mary has a
I move
question.
motion, I make a motion. that
Mary
I-
has a question.
Mary has a question.
Yes, what happened with the roofs? Is they fixed?
No, we haven't had a chance to even do anything else with them.
So are we going with local?
Yes.
Still?
Ken
Okay.
says he still thinks he can fix it, he just hasn't had a chance.
Well, the other one was kind of expensive and then
And then,
only good for,
and then we
guaranteed for
got
6
a
months
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
Light
good.
at Hicks did come by, and they said we needed a whole new roof on M&K Variety. So, but they never have sent me
Yeah.
anything about it.
Okay.
Mighty, it's been very slow to respond and stuff.
And so projects for 2013 is
Just
on hold,
whatever you
whatever.
want me, I mean, is there anything in particular that y'all want me to do?
Sounds like we're on a roll with the motor.
I think, that thing sounds like the most viable thing we've
There's
got
so many
going
different
to
ways that
actually
we can
expand this.
expand on that,
bring
one way or
business.
another.
But see, and that's the way, when we bought this land out here, this racing deal, I mean, that was a hot deal, and it looked like it could just, but you're dealing with a lot of out-of-town,
Right.
an out-of-town group. They didn't have the interest, once somebody else made them an offer,
Right.
kind of put us
Yeah.
on the back burner.
But this is a local
But this
group.
is a local deal, and they have a local interest.
Right, yeah,
And
and,
that's-
Coach, I
that's
kid you
good.
not, I've seen these little things just go crazy. That's the reason I was tickled when they came and said, we'd like to look at y'all's property out there because they've got room to expand. I've seen, personally watched two enterprises like this, just, man, it had the potential, but they grew so fast, they had not planned for it, and they couldn't handle the crowds.
That BMX also, you know, we could even, you know, just like these 5Ks that everybody's doing, we could even do that.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
start out there or whatever. you
Right.
know. It could,
I
There's
see
a
a
lot
lot
of
of
different ways
potential
we
in
can
that,
go.
and I say, that looks like to me about the best opportunity that this community maybe has had in a while, to see some outside money come
Well, we
in.
got properties sitting vacant.
Yes.
That the city or EDC or somebody owns.
Yeah.
I said, put them to work.
Yeah, put them to work, exactly.
That
well, we got a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
I'll vote for it.
Me too.
At least
Thank you,
John